Hey, this is Dave with Taboo Customs. Today we are working on our newest project, Jeep, a 2012 Jeep JK Rubicon. This one we call Project Dozer. Now this Jeep will be doing a lot of repair videos, aftermarket install videos, and eventually V8 swapping this Jeep once we get some time in the shop. Now be sure to like and subscribe to continue following us with this project. Today though, we're working on something, well, pretty simple, but it's been here since we bought this Jeep not long ago, and that's that the seatbelt light in the Jeep and the chime doesn't shut off. Well, the chime eventually shuts off. We thank Jeep for not having that go forever because we did have to drive it 3 hours to get it back here to the shop. But we've got to fix this because it's just kind of annoying and we want to get it going again. So we're going to run you through a few different things you can do. We're even going to take the seatbelt buckle apart and show you the inner workings of that seatbelt buckle. So hopefully you can understand it. And then we're going to run you through the cleaning process for that. And we'll run you through a couple other options if that cleaning process doesn't work, how to basically hardwire the buckle, and then talk about, replacement of the buckle. So let's start out with taking that buckle apart and showing you how it works. All right, so I will have to apologize for some of the camera work probably in this video. But first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to take this buckle apart, show you some of the inner workings and how it looks like this sensor works as far as seeing that the seatbelt is actually plugged in. So the first thing, if you're going to want to take this apart, because it is easier to clean with this apart, but we will show you where it's at so you can kind of try to clean on that side more than others. Now, to take this apart, what you're going to need is you're going to need a tamper-proof Torx bit, and this is a T10, and we'll put a link in the description to just a cheap set of these. We're going to have to pull these two screws that are down here. They're fairly long screws. Once we get these screws out, we can kind of pry up on the bottom of this a little bit, pry it out a little bit. Oh, sorry, see? I told you. And we're going to have to wiggle it down. Now, you're not going to be able to pull this very far, and I'll show you why here in just a second. All right, so let's take a look at the inner workings of the buckle here itself. Now, in the main portion of the buckle is really all the buckle itself. On the piece that we actually slid down and pulled off here, that is actually where the sensor is at. You can kind of see it here. There's a white piece that goes up and down. That goes up and down with this little piece here. And over here, towards the front of the buckle on the driver's side, there's like a little board, almost circuit board looking thing, and there's a couple of wires coming out of the bottom of it, and that's why we can't really pull on this very hard and we can't get it very far away. But if you look down in there, you can see there's a lot of gunk built up down there because everything that goes down there basically just ends up at the bottom of that board, and it's probably made the contacts dirty. So that's what we're going to be aiming to clean today. Now, before we clean this though, we're going to go ahead and we're going to disconnect this just to make sure we don't have any issues when we go and we spray it with our cleaner. Okay, so we're under the driver's side seat now and we're looking at it from the rear. Now here you have a couple of connectors. We got one on the right and we've got one that's like pushed into a thing underneath the seat. This one essentially hangs horizontal. That one's kind of vertical, let's say. This is the one that you're gonna want, the one that's hanging here and is horizontal. It'll have a green wire and a black wire on the harness end. So to disconnect this, there will be a red tab we're gonna have to push over, and then it should be pretty easy. You can just pull it back. And it's just a pretty simple little thing to disconnect. All right, so let's talk about how we're gonna clean this. We're gonna use a couple of different things. We're gonna use some canned air, and then we're also gonna use some electrical contact cleaner. I've also got a small screwdriver in case I need to dig out any of the bigger chunks. I mean, sometimes you might get little pebbles or something or sand down in there that you might have to dig out. So the first thing we're gonna do is try to blow it out. Oh, see, we got a big chunk of hair and, oh, disgusting stuff in there. Still got it. All right, now we'll take our contact cleaner. I'll run this up and down a few times. And we'll clean it again. I think we'll... All right, so now I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually test this. We've gone underneath the seat and reconnected the sensor. And now if we look up here, we can see our seatbelt light is on. But if we slide the little white piece down, yep, it goes off. Slide it up, down, down. So you can see it now is pretty consistent. We were able to kick it on and off. So now we've got to go ahead and reassemble this, and that you do have to be a little bit careful if you're going to take this apart and how you reassemble it. All right, so reassembly could be the trickiest thing because you have to, there's a couple of things. One, make sure this piece down here is still in the slot, like ours had fallen out with all the air and everything, and so we had to put it back in the slot. You've got to make sure there's a little one, the white piece needs to be up. This area here goes around this little piece here. So we've got to, and you may have to even push this down a hair and then get it in there. And we'll make sure it all clips in correctly. So now before we put our screws in though, we're going to test it to make sure that the function is still correct. Yep, and we've got it all functioning correctly. So, you know, key thing on that, like I said, you have to maybe get that little piece in there lined up with that white plastic slider that goes up and down. So now that we've got that done, we go ahead and reinstall our two screws. Now you could obviously do this without disassembling the buckle. You've now seen how the buckle is designed, so you know you need to focus mainly on the front part of that where that slide is to get that area clean. But keep in mind, if you do that, all the dirt and grime in there isn't going to go anywhere. It's going to stay inside that little case somewhere, but it probably will get you down the road for at least a while until you have to clean it again. Now, if you have to do the passenger side is completely different design. It's kind of strange. If you need to do the passenger side, we will show you the passenger side at the end of the video. Now, we knew ours was the driver's side, and typically this happens on the driver's side, and mainly we knew ours was the driver's side because we did have it go off one day and I disconnected the belt and then reconnected it, and the light came on the second I disconnected it and then stayed on after that again. So we knew it was the driver's side for us. Now, like I said, check out the end of the video if you want to see the passenger side. Let's say this didn't work for you. What options do you have? You really have got a couple of options. You could replace the whole buckle assembly there, which includes the pigtail down to that connector under the seat. However, from our research, I don't think you can buy those new anymore. We looked around for a while to see if we could. Couldn't find them anywhere, couldn't find them on Mopar Parts. I didn't go to the dealership. You might be able to go to the dealership, but I don't think you can get them. Now, you could also go on eBay and buy one that is used out of a wrecked JK. However, they're $100 on eBay because we took a look to see, because we wanted to know in case this, for this video, and in case this didn't work, I wanted to know what it would take to actually get that done. Now, to do that, obviously, you've got to remove the seat, and then there's a bolt in the side of the seat, and it's not really too difficult other than dealing with the seat and whatnot. Now, you do have another option though. You can go and you can basically hot wire it. You saw down there at the connector, there's 2 wires. So if you want to hot wire it, you basically need to connect those 2 wires together, and the Jeep will think it's always, the buckle is always plugged in, basically. If you do that, we would recommend cutting the wire between the buckle and that connector, not cutting the wire on the harness side, but cutting it between the connector and the buckle, and you could basically just, you know, solder them, wire nut them, whatever, put them together. Now make sure you're still wearing your seatbelt. I'm not saying don't wear your seatbelt, but that would get it to where the Jeep would think the seatbelt is always plugged in. Well, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. We thank you for watching. Be sure to check out taboocustoms.com, where we've got a lot of products for Jeeps, from frame rust repair kits to skid plates to a lot of other little things here and there. We'll be coming out with some additional products for JKs here in the future as well, so be sure to check it out. We thank you for watching. As always, a like or subscribe is greatly appreciated. So if you're still here, I assume you were wanting to see the passenger side. Let's go take a look at it. The passenger side, it's designed differently. Strange, but yeah, you can see that the little plate on the side doesn't have the same little slider. We do have, and you can see, it's hard to see maybe, but back here we've got red and black wires running up, and there is in the back there what looks like it might be a similar type white slider that goes up and down with the buckle. So chances are that we do have one of those boards back there. So the interesting thing though is, I think maybe because the reason why the driver's side has more issues than passenger side, other than getting used more, is you've got that on this side, and if this is buckled in, it's probably at an angle like this, so most stuff falls down in here. You know, so and that's where the driver's side one is. Well, the passenger side one is back here on the back, so it might get less dirty would be my guess, but who knows. Now, since we've got this one open, we're gonna go ahead and get up in there and try to clean it, just make sure we don't have any issues.